Okay, so let's get started with Spark. And in this scenario, what you can see is we are working with the Spark context. So what we need to do is we need to go inside the PySpark. So I will clear everything and I will say PySpark and wait for the Spark shell to be start inside Python. So this is what we have already used to work, and we perform the steps with notebook IPython, and it would be basically the same step what we'll be doing in the Spark shell itself. So let's wait for Spark to start, and then we can go ahead with one by one all the commands. So the first thing which we would be doing is we will be loading the file which is here with our Spark context to an RDD. Now, in the previous section, we already know what is an RDD. It's a structure inside the Spark. It's a distributed file system structure, resilient distributed data set, and we would be basically over time transferring this RDD into a data frame, and we will be utilizing the data frame to do the operation for us, because data frame is much faster, and we will be structuring the data frame in certain way, and there are a few commands also in between to just get a validation that we are doing the right thing. And then we'll import the library of Spark ML, and we will be using the regressing evaluator and ALS module here. This is provided by Spark for you to do machine learning algorithm implementation, and we will be creating the model with that. Before that, we need to also split the data into test and training. These steps are pretty simple. It's like one command, and inside the Spark, it will be actually run distributedly. You don't have to worry about it. So it's pretty cool. So let's get started with the Spark. And the first thing is we will be loading the data, and the data path is exactly where we put it. So even it's inside Ajay, and the name of the file is product_rater. So let's see if we are able to copy the file into the data frame, and it's done. It's quite fast, and let's try to then see if we have the count. So because it can happen that if it doesn't find the file, then it will give an error, and if it doesn't find the file, then it would not give the error, and that was the reason why we were not able to really get the data. So that was the issue. What we need to do here is we need to really change the machine name here with the machine name what we have, which is Spark, and I will go here and just change it, and I need to paste it in the browser. So I just copy this particular file path, and I will also make sure that the spelling of product_rater is same in this case. So we have product_rater, and let's try to run it, and let's try to see if we can basically get a count. And the job is running to count all the data elements. That means RDD was able to load the data from the text file, and it gave a count that this is the count of RDD, number of rows, and that means that we are able to successfully load the data. So now the next step would be just take one and see what it looks like. So you can just take one, and this is how the format is. You can see one, and there's a number which is a second ID, and then there's a probability. So each split by a tab. That is what the format is. And what I will do then is I will import the rows for my conversion to happen before I transfer into a data frame. So that's done. I will be creating a new transformation so I can create the data frame after this. So all the steps have been covered in details in the Spark data frame and RDD, because what happens is a data frame is a special type of RDD, and data frames is quite better in the performance aspect. So we would be using data frames because internally it can use SQL optimize SQL. So we need to basically transform the RDD into data frames, and for that we just do a simple transformation with the lambda function where we mapped the data in a different format. Now when we create the data frames, I will show you the structure of the data frame here, and once the data frame creation is done, I will just show you a structure. So if I do a df new show, then it would basically, I will just slide it a little bit here. It will basically give me the first 20 records, not give the entire big size of the file. It will just give me the first 20, and you can see the structure, new structure. So it printed out in a nice tabular format. We have the product 1 with the name product ID, and product with the name product 1 ID, product 2 ID, the second product ID, and the rating what we have. So pretty nice clear format of table representation with a show command. Now let's import this to machine learning libraries within the Spark itself, and these are executed. Now the next step would be to split our data into training and testing, and we basically will be using the 80% of the data for training purpose and 20% of the data for testing purpose or evaluation purpose after this. So that is done quite fast.